The Jungle Book. Once upon a time. Whoa! This is not where it is. Oh, certainly not this. Ah, there it is. Once upon a time. In the peaceful jungle of Seoni lived a fierce panther named Bagheera. One day, while resting upon a tree, Bagheera hears a crying noise in the distance. Curious, he makes his way towards the sound and finds a man cub inside a basket. As he ponders hard on what to do with this man cub, he remembers that a wolf family just recently gave birth to a litter of cubs. So he brings the man cub to the family, and both the mother and father wolf welcomes him with open arms.
And it occurred to me. A family of wolves I knew had been blessed with a litter of cubs.
And for the next 10 years, the wolf family raised Mowgli like their own. However, trouble would soon come upon Paradise as Shere Khan, the vicious tiger known for his extreme hatred toward men, was here in town. Though the family didn't want to let go of Mowgli, they had to for his and their own safety. Being aware of the danger of the jungle, Bagheera was determined to bring Mowgli back to the man village. On the way, the two encounter Baloo, a free-spirited bear who is only focused on the bare necessities, no pun intended. Mowgli and Baloo had an instant connection, and they decided not to go to the man village. However, while they were hanging out, Mowgli gets kidnapped by the monkeys, and we meet King Louie.
Hey, Mowgli, how about you flicking that old mean fly off of your Papa Bear's nose? Ouch!
He promises Mowgli that he would help him stay in the jungle forever, but in return he must show him the secret of the man's red flower, which was fire. But before Louie could finish, Bagheera and Baloo rescues Mowgli from the hands of the monkeys. On the way back, Bagheera pulls Mowgli aside and tells him that in order for Mowgli to survive, he must return to his people, aka the man village. Though he was hesitant, Baloo agrees to follow the plan. However, when Mowgli finds out what Baloo was doing, he runs away.
All right, let's hit the trail, kid. See you around, Bagheera.
Unfortunately, Shere Khan overhears these news, and he too goes on the search for Mowgli. Will Baloo and Bagheera find Mowgli before Shere Khan? Will he return to the village or stay in the jungle forever? Watch the film to find out. Now that we're done with the summary, let's do a little background research. The Backstage Crew, produced and released on October 18, 1967 by the famous Walt Disney. This film was directed by Wolfgang Reitherman, who was one of the 9 old men at Walt Disney. He worked as a producer, director, and animator, and his most well-known works include 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, and Winnie the Pooh. As for the voice actors, Mowgli was played by Bruce Reitherman, Bagheera was played by Sebastian Cabot, and Baloo was played by Phil Harris. Bruce Reitherman was the son of Jungle Book director Wolfgang Reitherman, and he was the voice actor in many films such as Honey Tree and Winnie the Pooh. Sebastian Cabot was a British actor and voice actor, and his most notable role was in the Disney film The Sword in the Stone. Lastly, Phil Harris voiced Thomas O'Malley in The Aristocats and Little John in Robin Hood. Origins. Located in the Seoni jungle of Madhya Pradesh, India, The Jungle Book is said to be located during the 19th century. The film was originally inspired by the ancient Indian fable texts Panchatantra and Jataka, each containing different pieces of the movie. The Panchatantra was a compilation of many animal fables, but the Jataka was a piece that described Buddha's various reincarnations, both human and animal forms. However, it is said that The Jungle Book was based off of a real person. Just like Mowgli, Dina Sanichar was raised by wolves after he got lost in the vast Indian jungle. He was sheltered, protected, and fed by these wolves. But years of living with these wolves stunted his mental growth and capacity to re-enter into the human society. So when he was brought to an orphanage, he ate, spoke, and even walked like a wolf, and it is reported that his teeth was sharpened due to constant gnawing on bones. Unfortunately, he did not survive in this society and died of tuberculosis, which is believed to be caused by his raw meat diet. Unlike Mowgli, the story didn't end well for this young fella. This is a picture of Danny Sanichar. Now back to the story. Characters. In the film, Mowgli was this brave, inquisitive, and inventive kid who wanted to stay in the jungle forever with his animal companions. He also does not follow rules, which frustrates Bagheera. Bagheera, who was a Black Panther, was intelligent and down to earth, and he was known for constantly protecting his pride. Another trait of Bagheera is that despite coming off as strict and being a rule follower, he never takes blame for anything. In contrast, Baloo is this free-spirited and happy-go-lucky bear. He is loving and laid-back, and he loves to dance and play games. Lastly, Shere Khan, the main antagonist, is described as a strong, ruthless, cunning, and extremely manipulative tiger who has a strong hatred towards humans. Though he is seen as the villain, he is actually one of my favorite characters in the film. Of course, this wouldn't be a simple review without some controversy. The story was actually believed to be a direct reference to when the British colonized India in 1858, and many of the characters display this through their actions. Many argue that Mowgli's prowess over the animal is an analogy for the British ability to control the lesser people, which in this case is the people from India. As mentioned repeatedly in the story, the main thing that differentiates the humans from the animals is man's red flower, which is fire. This is a mockery to how back then India was less civilized and thus had less modern technology. Adding on, the animals referring to fire as red flower and not its correct name represents how the people of India failed to understand and catch up with the advancements of the British. And the song I Want to Be Like You basically talks about how Louis wants to become civilized like Mowgli and have the red flower. Which brings us back to the notion of how civilization translates to whiteness. Though the references are quite concerning, film-wise I would say that it is a really good movie. The use of traditional style animation makes it all the more exciting, and the quality of the film makes it hard to believe that it is from the 1960s. Now I admit, this is my first time watching The Jungle Book, and I have to say I'm quite impressed by the development of the plot. Overall, I believe this is a really great film for family gatherings or even movie nights with friends. However, this isn't my type of movies, and whenever I rewatch it, my mind brings me back to the controversies. And for that reason, I rate this a 4 out of 5. Thank you, everyone.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life.